Let's talk money because honestly, nobody in this space really talks about it enough. And the people who need this information the most are often the ones being left completely in the dark about what they could actually be earning. So today we are going there. We're going to be talking some real numbers, those real rates, real income, those breakdowns. I just want to give you an honest, straight talking look at what OBMs are making in 2026, what can influence those numbers, and what the path from where you are right now to those numbers actually looks like. So whether you are a virtual assistant wondering if the OBM path is worth it financially, or somebody in a 9-to-5 corporate job doing the math on whether being a freelancer and being a freelancer as an OBM could actually replace your salary, or if you are already working as an OBM and wondering whether your rates are where they should be, this video and this podcast is definitely for you. And I have a feeling that these numbers might genuinely surprise you. I'm Sarah Noked, founder of OBM School, and I've spent well over a decade, almost 2 decades in this industry, training OBMs, running an OBM agency, and watching hundreds of students in OBM school transform their incomes simply by stepping into the role properly. So when I'm talking about OBM earnings, I'm not just pulling numbers off some random salary website. I'm actually talking about what I see happening in the real world, inside real OBM businesses right now. So let's get into it. Before we actually look at the numbers, I want to make one thing crystal clear because there's a comparison here that is really quite important to understand, and it completely reframes this conversation. So when most people hear OBM for the first time, whether you are a freelancer or a client, they just think it's a fancier version of a virtual assistant, and it's not. And I say this with the obvious utmost respect for virtual assistants because of a lot of OBMs, myself included, started there. Many of our students start there, but the roles are genuinely different in terms of scope, in terms of responsibility, and absolutely in terms of earning potential. So a VA is typically task-focused. They execute, where an OBM is really more strategically focused. We oversee, manage, lead, and drive results at that business level. And we are paid accordingly, right, when those roles are properly done. So I want to really mention here that the average VA earns somewhere between $25 to $40 an hour, even less. Some even earn less, which is the unfortunate truth. But this is typically the range for most experienced VAs working with clients online. Now, let's get into those OBM numbers properly because, OBM income looks very different depending on how you structure your business and really how you position yourself as a whole. So there are 3 main ways that OBMs get paid, and each one has very different income, I'd say, implications. Now, if you are charging hourly as an OBM, especially when you're starting out or working on shorter term projects, the current market rate for experienced OBMs can sit somewhere between 65 and 180 US dollars per hour. Now, as I mentioned, if you compare that to that VA rate that I mentioned earlier, $25 to $40 an hour, we are roughly talking double to triple the rate for OBM level work. And the best part about this is, while the value you're providing online businesses is high, the amount you're working is usually significantly lower. Take one of our students, Sarah Paul, for example. She was making very good money in her corporate role, but she was working 40, 50-hour weeks. Now, as an OBM, she hasn't just doubled, but she's actually tripled what she was making in corporate, and now works around 30 hours a week. So Vibke, another student and another day in the life, was charging $25 an hour as a VA, and once she became accredited through OBM school, she upped her rate to $60 an hour, and I'm sure charges way more than that, but I know she works half the time, right? So next up, I want to talk the monthly retainer. And this is, I think, where it gets really interesting. So most established OBMs, we don't charge hourly at all. We work on monthly retainers, meaning a fixed monthly fee for an ongoing scope of work. And this is where the income picture becomes genuinely exciting, I would say. So industry retainers from OBMs in our community currently range from $1,500 to $7,500 per month per client, with experienced, well-positioned OBMs often sitting in that $2,500 to $7,000 per month range as their standard retainer. So let's do some very quick math here because I want this to really land for you. If you have 2 clients on a $2,500 per month retainer, that's $5,000 a month, $60K a year, right? From 2 clients probably working around 25 hours a week. If you have those 2 clients at $3,500 per month, that's $7,000 a month or $84,000 a year. Now 3 clients at a very, modest $3,000 each, that's $9K a month and over $100K a year. And OBMs will typically work with between 3 and 4 clients at a time. So the math works very well, right? And this is why this model is so powerful, because you're not trading hours for dollars. You are providing consistent strategic value and getting consistent, predictable income in return. So what actually influences your OBM income? Why can it vary so significantly? Okay, so now that you have the numbers, let's talk about what actually moves the needle on your income as an OBM, because really it's not just about time in the role. There are quite a handful, I would say, of key factors that really separate the OBMs earning 4K from the ones earning 120K and up per year. So the first factor is really, quite frankly, how you position yourself. And this is a big one, and I cannot stress it enough. I love talking about positioning, and I know that the OBMs who earn the most are not necessarily the most experienced. They are the ones who are positioned most clearly as strategic leaders, not support staff. So if your messaging, if your website, if your pitch, if your sales conversations, if everything about you still shows up and still reads as, I can help with tasks and projects, you will attract task level rates. If you position yourself as an operational partner who drives business growth, manages teams, and builds systems, well, then you command OBM level rates. Now, the second big factor is this notion, again, of hourly versus retainer versus packages. If you are still charging hourly, I want to lovingly challenge you to rethink that. And here's why. As you get better at your job, you get faster. So if you charge hourly, getting better at your job literally means that you earn less money, and that is so completely ass backwards. So the OBMs earning the most consistently have moved away from hourly billing and into retainers or value or scope-based packages. You are not charging for your time. You are charging for the outcome. And that might be a business that runs better, a launch that lands, a team that performs, a client that has more time to do the things that only they can do. The value does not decrease because you have become more efficient, right? It increases. That's the return on investment our clients experience. Now, the other thing are credentials and professional recognition. And I really want to be transparent about this one because it is relevant to what we do at OBM school since we have a certification program and our accelerator, but it's also just genuinely true. OBMs who hold professional credentials like OBM accreditation consistently report charging higher rates and attracting better quality clients. So one of our graduates, Jenny Kavanagh, said that before accreditation, she was stuck over-delivering and undervaluing her work. After completing the program, she doubled her revenue, built clearer boundaries with clients, and, in her words, now has the freedom to take only aligned clients on her roster. So when you can show potential clients, that you're CPD-Certified, accredited OBM, or that you have these beautiful, credibly issued digital badges to show on LinkedIn, or you are, showcased on a professional directory like the one at obmschool.com/directory, there's that immediate trust. Now, I want to spend a moment here specifically talking to the VAs who are watching or listening to this, because this income comparison is something that genuinely changes how people see their options. The average experienced VA earns somewhere in the range of $35,000 to $55,000 per per year working freelance, which is not too shabby. For some, it's more. For many, it's less, especially when you factor in the number of clients that you need to juggle at lower hourly rates to hit a decent income. Now, here is the thing. In many cases, experienced VAs are already doing OBM level work. Yes, you know who you are. You're managing projects, writing the SOPs, leading the team communication, and building and literally automating, streamlining systems. So one of our accelerator graduates, Tariro, said it best. She said within 2 weeks of starting the program, she had successfully pivoted 2 of her 4 clients from VA to OBM work that she was already doing anyway. So no new services, just repositioning your responsibilities. And that shift alone put her on track to more than double her income. And that is the opportunity sitting right in front of a lot of VAs right now. Not learning a completely new skill set, just owning the level that they are already operating at and pricing accordingly. I want to be real with you here because I think honesty really serves you better than hype. So building your OBM income really doesn't happen overnight. The OBMs that are hitting 100K per year or more did not get there in month 1. But the trajectory is genuinely fast compared to most career paths, especially when you have the right foundation in place. In your first few months, you are building. You are getting your positioning down sharp. You are landing your first 1, maybe 2 clients, and you're starting to prove your value. So most OBMs in this phase are earning in the $2,000 to $4,000 USD per month range as they get established, and that already compares very favorably to a full VA income. By 6 to 12 months in, with 2 or 3 solid retainer clients, many OBMs are consistently in the $5,000 to $8,000 USD per month range. That is $60,000 to $96,000 per year. Entirely possible within your first full year. And by year 2 and beyond, established OBMs with strong positioning, word of mouth referrals coming in, been on the, directory for a while, hopefully if they're accredited, and potentially building a small team or an agency, right? The key difference between OBMs who build quickly versus those who stall, it almost always comes down to one thing: how clearly they are positioned and how confidently they are charging, which is why investing in getting those foundations right from the start pays off so exponentially. If everything that I've spoken about today has you thinking, okay, I want to know more about actually making this happen, I have something really exciting to tell you. Registration is now open for our next OBM week, and it's completely free. So OBM week is one of our most popular free events of the year. Over 3 days of live training, we dive into everything you need to know to build and grow a real OBM business, from what the role actually looks like day to day, to how to land clients, to how to price your services, and how to set yourself up with the right systems and tools, and so much more. So if you are at the stage where you are thinking, I'm interested, but I want to understand this better before I commit to anything, OBM Week is literally designed for you. It is free, it is live, and it's really packed with some good old value. And there are even some giveaways in there because we love a good OBM related giveaway. Now, the link to register in the description below, and I would genuinely love to see you there. You can also head on over to obmschool.com/OBM-week. All right, let me leave you with this. The OBM income opportunity is 100% real. The rates are 100% real. The transformations our students experience is real. You can see all the day in the lives and all of the amazing results, but none of this happens by accident. It happens when you stop underselling yourself, you start positioning at the level you are capable of, and building a business that actually reflects your value, whether you are just starting to explore the path or you have been dabbling in it for a while and are ready to, quite frankly, get serious. I hope this video and today's podcast gave you the clarity and the confidence to take a real look at what's possible for you. I hope I see you at OBM Week. Until then, know your worth, charge accordingly, and I'll talk to you very soon.